Hello Year 8s. First of all, thank you very much for the work that you did for me last week. Thank you for the surveys that you filled in and also the information you found out about the different businesses. So this week, I want you to focus on understanding about characteristics and skills. So first of all, thinking about what characteristics and skills you have. And secondly, what sort of characteristics and skills do you think are important for an entrepreneur to have? That's somebody who runs their own business. Okay, so in order to do this, obviously you need to maybe understand what we mean by characteristics and skills. What's the difference between those? Because I see them as two separate things. So first of all, characteristics are things that are related to your personality. Okay, so for example, you could be somebody who's quite a confident person. That would be a characteristic. You could be innovative. That means imaginative, creative, somebody who comes up with lots of ideas. That's a characteristic. You could be somebody that's quite adaptable, that is able to adapt to changing situations, that's quite comfortable in different people's company and trying out new things. And that would mean you're adaptable. Now, you don't necessarily have to use these sorts of words that I'm using here, but one of the things that I want you to think about is about characteristics, what defines your personality. And then there's skills. Now, skills are different from characteristics because skills tend to be things that you are good at, things that you can learn and improve on. In other words, things that you can be better at, that you can get yourself better at. So, for example, you could be really good at communicating, maybe communicating with other people in person, or maybe communicating your thoughts in writing. And that would be a skill, and that's a skill that you can learn. Obviously, in school, you learn more about how to communicate well with people in writing and also verbally through presentations and conversation. You might be really good at solving problems, and that is also a skill that you can develop and learn. In particular, subjects like maths at school are good for developing your problem solving skills. So that's a skill that you might have that might be useful. You might be skilled in planning. I wonder how you're finding your ability to be able to plan out how and when you do your work whilst we're in lockdown. Are you good at planning out each day what subjects you're going to do when, or do you get to the end of the day and realize actually you haven't done half the stuff you were intending to do? Are you good at planning, or are you not so good at planning? So those sorts of things are skills, and again you can get better at planning. So all these things, and you can think of other skills, I'm sure. For example, you might be really sporty, you might be really good with technical things like computers and so on, so you can have practical skills like that as well. So, little reminder then, we're thinking about both characteristics and skills. So characteristics, things to do with your personality, and skills, things that you can do, things that you're good at, things that you can learn and develop and improve in. Okay, and the two things I'm going to be wanting you to do this week is first of all to think about what characteristics and skills you have, and I want you to also ask somebody else in your household if they can suggest some characteristics and skills that you have, as well as thinking about it for yourself. And secondly, and this is the bigger task, I want you to think about, for a particular type of business, what characteristics and skills would be important for somebody who is running that business, for the entrepreneur who started that business. Okay, so that's the task for this week. There's going to be more details in the Word document that this video is attached to.